Okay. This is an audio version of the questions that I typed up from Psychology in Action, 10th edition. And here we go. What is psychology? Psychology is defined as the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. The word derives from the roots psyche, meaning mind, and logos, meaning word. What do psychologists place particular value on? Psychologists place particular value on empirical evidence that can be objectively tested and evaluated. How do you perform critical thinking? You use the process of objectively evaluating, comparing, analyzing, and synthesizing information. What does synthesizing mean? Synthesizing is to combine a number of things into a coherent whole. What are 4 examples of pseudo-psychologists? 1. Psychics. 2. Mediums. 3. Palmists. And 4. Astrologers. What are psychologists' 4 main goals? 1. Description. 2. Explanation. 3. Prediction. 4. Change. How does description help psychologists know what occurred? When psychologists attempt to describe or name or classify particular behaviors by observations, description helps understand behavior. What does explanation do to help? An explanation tells why a behavior or mental process occurred. It depends on discovering and understanding its causes. What is prediction? To predict is to identify the conditions under which a future behavior or mental process is likely to occur. You can tell what is going on and what is going to happen. What does change bring? Change is a goal of psychology. It means that one applies psychological knowledge to prevent unwanted outcomes to bring desired goals. What do people in the biopsychology and neuroscience fields do when they work? They investigate the relationship between biology, behavior, and mental processes, and how physical and chemical processes affect the structure and function of the brain and the nervous system. What do clinical psychologists do? They specialize in evaluation, diagnosis, treatment of psychological disorders. What do cognitive psychologists examine? They examine the higher mental processes, including thought, memory, intelligence, creativity, and language. What do comparative psychologists study? They study the behavior and mental processes of non-human animals, and they emphasize evolution and cross-species comparisons. What do counseling psychologists focus on? They focus on social, educational, and career adjustments, and they overlap with clinical psychology. Turn page. What do cross-cultural psychologists focus on? They focus on the similarities and differences in and across various cultures and ethnic groups. What do developmental psychologists study? They study the course of human growth and development from conception to death. What do educational and school psychologists do? The process of education and work to promote the intellectual, social, and emotional development of children in the school environment. What is environmental psychology? It investigates how people affect and are affected by the physical environment. What does experimental psychology examine? It examines the process such as learning, conditioning, motivation, emotion, sensation, and perception in human and other animals. Psychologists working in almost all areas of specialization do what? They conduct experiments. What do forensic psychologists apply? They apply the principles of psychology to the legal system, including jury selection, psychological profiling, assessment, and treatment of offenders. Gender and/or cultural psychology investigates what? How men and women in different cultures differ, and how they are similar. What does health psychology study? How biological, psychological, and social factors affect health and illness. What does industrial organizational psychology do? It applies principles of psychology to the workplace, including personal selection and evaluation, leadership, job satisfaction, employee motivation, and group process within the organization. What is personality psychology? It studies the unique and relatively stable patterns in a person's thoughts, feelings, and action. What does positive psychology examine? Positive psychology examines factors related to the optimal human functioning. What do school psychologists do? They collaborate with teachers, parents, and students within the educational system to help the children with academic, social, and disability needs. They also provide evaluation and assessment of a student's functioning and eligibility for special services.